The beautiful woman raised her hand and tapped lightly. The gourd of peach blossom wine was immediately unsealed by her. She then quietly gave each person a gourd, saying, "This peach blossom wine is just fake, lad, you've been tricked." Lai Yingxiao chuckled and said, "Mine isn't peach blossom wine, it is called the bag of forgotten sorrows." The beautiful woman savored the name with interest. She said, "If such wine truly exists in this world, no matter the cost, it would be worth trying." She lifted the wine gourd, took a small sip, and seemed to enjoy it immensely. The beautiful woman slowly said, "Yet, no matter how much I drink, I don't get drunk, and my sorrows won't dissipate." Her gaze briefly grew distant. She paused for a moment and then asked, "Do you know the difference between drinking wine and drinking water?" Lai Yingxiao looked reminiscent and said, "I once heard a friend say that wine gets hotter the more you drink, while water gets colder the more you drink." The beautiful woman froze, then smiled sadly. "Yet, this wine only makes me feel colder the more I drink it." Lai Yingxiao said seriously, "Because your heart was already cold, it has never truly warmed up." He continued, "People in life meet and part, the moon waxes and wanes, everyone's life has imperfections, but if you keep dwelling on them, you can never achieve true fulfillment. You can achieve fulfillment." Lai Yingxiao continued to say seriously, "Because of his existence, your heart was whole. If he were still alive, he certainly wouldn't want to see you like this. I still remember Miranju's last words to you. Don't seek revenge, don't harbor resentment, live peacefully." That was his final hope, but you disappointed him. The beautiful woman's body trembled slightly, and her eyes held a profound complexity. She looked at Lai Yingxiao and slowly said, "It appears you are the descendant of an old friend from T-led-1 Van Peak outside Hanyu City back then. I just don't know who your senior relative is." Lai Yingxiao's expression shifted slightly. He said, "This matter is quite complicated and difficult to explain clearly right now. I only came here to pay respects to Brother Miranju once." The beautiful woman nodded. "I accept your sentiment. No matter who your senior relative is, everyone on T-led-1 Van Peak back then were old friends. Please convey my regards to him." Lai Yingxiao gently replied, "I hope you can soon step out of this obsession. Don't remain lost in the depths forever. Many people in this world still care about you. As for this, keep it and drink it gradually. I hope it helps you forget sorrow." Lai Yingxiao looked at the peach tree for a while, then turned and left. The beautiful woman watched his retreating figure and suddenly called out, "You are the descendant of my old friend. If you encounter difficulties in Hanyu City, just find me." Lai Yingxiao stopped, smiled lightly, and said, "I actually do have a request. When I can't handle it anymore, I won't hesitate to ask for your help." This figure gradually disappeared, leaving only a faint poem echoing, "The joy of reunion, the pain of parting. In this life, there are sentimental souls. What should you say? Clouds stretch for 10,000 miles, thousands of mountains covered in snow. Where does the lonely shadow turn?" Upon hearing this, the beautiful woman immediately felt dizzy. She looked at the peach tree. After the light drizzle, the flower buds, which had been closed, now began to slowly open. She stared blankly for a moment. "Master," a clear female voice suddenly rang out as a small figure ran over. Her innocent voice asked, "What are you thinking, Master? Is it raining here too? How strange." At this moment, the beautiful woman recovered, smiled, and said, "The air was just a little dirty. I simply washed it clean." The young girl glanced around curiously, looked down at the base of the peach tree, and exclaimed in surprise, "Master, you actually drank wine." The beautiful woman scoffed lightly. "What is strange about drinking wine? If your master feels like it, taking a few sips doesn't break any heavenly lore." The young girl giggled. "Then why are the two gourds? Master always saves them to drink gradually, but both are open, and there are even traces of someone having tasted them already." The beautiful woman was momentarily speechless, then said lightly annoyed, "Why do you ask so many questions about your master's business? I'll drink as much as I want." The mischievous young girl hugged her and playfully insisted, "What good news is there? Tell me quickly so I can share in the laughter. I am dying of curiosity to see who was skilled enough to change Master's mood." The two had no formalities between them, looking like close sisters. A little warmth arose in the beautiful woman's heart as she remembered Lai Yingxiao's recent words. Many people in this world still care about you. At least this girl was one of them. The young girl in her arms smiled and said, "I must learn from him. From now on, I'll make Master happy every day." The beautiful woman maintained a serious expression, feigning annoyance. She snorted lightly. "Who said your master was happy? Give you an inch and you take a mile." The young girl giggled. "Master, the wrinkles on your face betray everything. Every time you smile at me, the corners of your eyes crinkle. I know immediately when it's a fake laugh. But now, Master looks serious, yet her eyes are smooth at the corners, so I know she is truly happy this time. Yuo Bing hasn't seen Master this happy in a long time, so she is incredibly curious." The beautiful woman trembled slightly and reached up to touch her cheeks. A wave of sadness washed over her heart. She murmured, "Do I have wrinkles at the corners of my eyes? It seems Master really is getting old." Seeing her sadness, the young woman panicked and quickly said, "Master isn't old at all. You are still Yuo Bing's most beautiful older sister. I was just talking nonsense." The beautiful woman let out a small huff and said, "Go on then. What grievance brings you here this time?" The young woman pouted. "What do you mean by that? Master, can't I come to see you if there's nothing wrong? It's not like I only come when I need something." The beautiful woman chuckled lightly, as if I don't know you well enough. "Speak quickly." The young woman immediately pulled a lun face. She picked up the wine jug that Lai Yingxiao had left on the ground, intending to drink it in one go. The beautiful woman tried to stop her, but it was too late. The young woman had already lifted the jug and taken a large gulp. As soon as she swallowed the large gulp, her face flushed red, and she started coughing uncontrollably. "Master, is this real peach blossom wine? Why is it completely different from the kind in Hanyu City?" The young woman found it incredibly difficult to drink and didn't want to try another sip. The beautiful woman looked at her face, which looked like she had just eaten bitter melon, and said with a smile, "This wine might once have been called authentic peach blossom wine. but now its name is Taivang S led 1EA7U, or drunkard S forgetfulness sorrow. At least these two jugs are. Taivang S led 1EA7U, the young woman murmured, pondering the name before looking down at the wine jug. She brought it to her lips and drank again. The beautiful woman shivered slightly and asked gently, Yuobing, are you troubled by marriage matters again? This young woman was none other than Zhang Yuobing, who had attracted attention from everyone, bringing Hanyu City to a standstill with young talents. She took another drink. This time she was used to it and it went down smoother. She then said, Master, this wine really does make you feel like forgetting sorrow. The beautiful woman spoke softly, as a daughter of the Zhang family, who can decide her own marriage, not just the Zhang family, but throughout the entire Tianwu realm. Daughters of major powers are all used as tools for political marriage alliances. Tears welled up in Zhang Yuobing's eyes. She said sadly, being a daughter of the Zhang family may be glorious, but only I understand the suffering. It is no different from being raised just to be sold off. The beautiful woman sighed. That is our fate. Years ago, I wanted to escape, but I ended up causing the tragic death of the person I loved, a regret that has haunted me my whole life. If I hadn't been so stubborn then, everything would have been normal, and not so many people would have died in Hanyu City. The old story caused her pain. Zhang Yuobing quickly wiped away her tears and said, Master, I am sorry. I've made you remember sad things again. The beautiful woman gave a small smile. I should be the one apologizing. I've made you worry about me for all these years. Zhang Yuobing was momentarily stunned, then rejoiced. Master, you. The beautiful woman nodded and said seriously, from now on, I will no longer sink into sorrow. Having drunk Taivang S led 1EA7U, I will forget everything I need to forget. I, Ningqiu, have decided to return to myself. An indistinct aura spread from her whole being seemed transformed, and the demeanor of a powerful expert flared up within her. Zhang Yuobing opened her eyes wide, unable to believe it. She said, I am really curious who came here to make Master wake up so quickly. Ningqiu smiled lightly, stroked her cheek, and asked, with young masters from all over the city and geniuses from across the land gathering here, does anyone caught your eye yet? Zhang Yuobing pouted and grumbled, they are all frivolous young masters who rely on their family background to be arrogant. Few of them have real ability. How could I possibly like them? Ningqiu smiled lightly, then said seriously, Yuobing, you are already of age. If you don't marry soon, you'll become an old spinster. Being a daughter of an influential family may involve restrictions, but it is still better than being an ordinary person. You can choose a match with equal social status, live a stable life helping your husband and raising children, and share in your husband's glory. Ordinary women don't get to choose their fate. Now that Hanyu City has gathered so many talents, you should choose carefully. However, he must absolutely have strong actual strength and great potential. A slightly less background is fine, but otherwise, your mother won't agree, and neither will I. Zhang Yuobing let out a small huff. If I don't meet someone I like, I won't marry, even if it turns the whole family upside down. Ningqiu said, don't worry, this time Master will support your choice. If you don't like someone, no one will force you, but you must choose one person to marry. This martial arts tournament is so high profile, if we can choose anyone, what will Hanyu City do? Zhang Yuobing hastily replied, Master, this isn't helping me, since it is a martial arts tournament to choose a son, and, lore, a person must win to marry me. If I like someone but he doesn't win, it is useless. The people with a chance to take first place are all playboy young masters, or weak ones relying on equipment and elixirs to support themselves. If you take all that away, some of them might even lose to me. Ningqiu's eyes sparkled. She said, just look for someone you like with peace of mind, as long as his innate potential and strength aren't too bad. Master will help him win. When Zhang Yuobing tried to add more, Ningqiu pinched her cheek and said, it is decided then, you go back first and wait for news. Master will start preparations and absolutely won't disappoint you. She sent Zhang Yuobing away, then looked at the two wine jugs with a strange expression. She muttered to herself, that young fellow looks like a little old man, but he carries a sense of worldly experience. Whose descendant is he really? His appearance and skill are top tier. Yes, a 5-star martial venerable, yet he was still able to escape under my pressure. The thunder technique resembles the Northern Crane sect's body into thunder cauldron technique. If that is true, then is there some connection to the Zhang family? Ningqiu suddenly curved her lips into a smile and murmured, let me investigate this young fellow's background first to see if Yuobing finds him suitable. After bidding farewell to Ningqiu, Liang Xiao immediately jumped onto his compass chariot and flew away. His main purpose for visiting Hanyu City this trip was to acquire the EC Moon Luminous Pearls. However, after thoroughly searching the myriad treasure pavilions, he received frustrating news. All the pearls had recently been bored up by a mysterious individual, leaving the entire eastern region completely empty, like a wallet at the end of the month. Asking to buy the reputation of a business with 500,000 primeval stones. I almost laughed myself silly. We could torque for 1,000,000, otherwise, get lost. Add a bit more for this matter. 2,000,000, money in hand, information delivered. With money comes information. Liang Xiao flew to Hanyu City as soon as he left Ningqiu, still aiming for the EC Moon Luminous Pearls, but everywhere he asked, he received the same answer. All the pearls had recently disappeared. At that moment, Liang Xiao pulled out 2,000,000 primeval stones. The servant rejoiced as if he had won the lottery and whispered in his ear, the person collecting the EC Moon Luminous Pearls is Little Mei, the maidservant of the Zhang family matriarch. Liang Xiao's expression immediately turned serious, and he asked, are you absolutely certain? The servant nodded firmly, saying there was no doubt, adding that little May had a dubious relationship with the manager. Lai Yingxiao furrowed his brow and thought, looking at the number of businesses cleared out. At least 8 pearls were collected simultaneously. It was clear this was a work of the Jiang family matriarch. If the pearls truly were in the hands of the Jiang family matriarch, it would be major trouble. As he was lost in thought, he suddenly heard a familiar voice ringing out. Shopkeeper, how much do 6 level? 6 pages cost. The servant immediately abandoned Lai Yingxiao and turned to greet the new customer warmly. Should I go back and ask KH-1EA3NGUY-1EC7T for help? No one has recognized my identity yet, but even if she shows up, I might not get it. It asked this person again. The man in the green robe was the one who sold 3 dating secret manuals to Lai Vantaru before. As soon as they met, he forced a crooked, embarrassed smile. He scratched his head and laughed. H-1ED3NGNGUY-1EC7T city is truly tiny. We keep running into each other everywhere. Lai Vantaru said icily. You cheated me out of my primordial stones. The man in the green robe immediately protested. How can you say that? I didn't hold a knife to your throat and force you to buy them. He rolled his eyes, then smiled casually. Fine. I'll compensate you, and that'll be the end of it. This time it's for real. I'll take you somewhere cool, guaranteed not to waste your money. Without waiting for consent, he pulled Lai Vantaru and ran outside as fast as possible. The two quickly reached a small courtyard with tightly shut gates and high walls. The man in the green robe glanced meaningfully at Lai Vantaru, saying, your cultivation level is only 5-star martial master, but your foundation is incredibly solid. You kept up with me without even breathing heavily. Lai Vantaru's divine sense swept through the area and detected only about a dozen cultivators inside the courtyard, most of them weak. There were only a sparse few above the level of martial venerables. Politely surprised, he asked, what is this place? Come inside with me to register. I guarantee your chances of winning the Sun and lore selection competition will shoot through the roof. The man in the green robe pulled him straight inside. The inside was plastered with information and pictures of QNH led 1B0 led 1E3C bang. As soon as he stepped in, the man in green shouted, Chu Kenengir, Ivy brought a new guy. Chu Kenengir was startled and nearly had a heart attack. Looking like he had just been caught doing something shady, he grumbled, I told you to knock when entering my room. Scaring me is one thing, but what if you disturb the goddess NH led 1B0 led 1E3C bang? The man in the green robe chuckled, just register, a new recruit has arrived. Lai Vantaru looked around and muttered, so this is the goddess NH led 1B0 led 1E3C bang. She looks quite similar to QNS led 1EDFN Hayan. When Chu Kenengir heard this, he immediately shouted, Pay, new guy, stop touching things randomly. He gave Lai Vantaru a disdainful look, saying, just a 5-star martial master. The referral fee is only 50,000 mid, braid primordial stones. He then tossed a bag of stones over. Lai Vantaru was bewildered, not understanding what was happening, and only now realized he had been dragged here just to be used as a source of referral money. The man in the green robe took the bag of stones, looking as happy as if it were TL1 EBFT Lunar New Year, then quickly slipped away. Lai Vantaru asked, what kind of organization are you? Chu Kenengir looked stunned and asked back, didn't he tell you? He pointed to the side and said, it's alright, I'll explain. This organization is a savior for bumpkins like you. The day of the goddess's Sun and lore selection competition is approaching. Are you confident you can defeat the young masters of the 7 great powers? And with the Eastern region S7 stars also showing up, do you dare to dream of winning against them on the stage? Lai Vantaru shook his head. He had no intention of participating and hadn't even heard of those titles. Then this is exactly where you belong, Chu Kenengir said animatedly, spitting everywhere as he spoke. We don't have powerful backgrounds, tyrannical parents, or masters who can call upon the wind and rain, so we have no choice but to rely on ourselves. We all poor cultivators with average talents, but we share a common goal. We gather here out of love for the goddess NH led 1B0 led 1E3C bang. We band together for warmth and to stand against those rich, sadist Prince Charmings. Our organization, named Iceblock, consists of her most loyal and dedicated fans. Chu Kenengir grew increasingly excited as he spoke, shouting, I am the goddess's most loyal fan. The goal of Iceblock is to become her strongest and most loyal protectors. Reaching a climax, he even climbed onto the table and yelled a few slogans. Lai Vantaru could only laugh dryly, saying, You've got the wrong person. I am not interested in becoming a Sun and lore. Please excuse me, I must take my leave. When he turned to leave, Chu Kenengir immediately blocked his way, raising his hand to stop him. You can't go. Van Lam already received the referral fee. You must join, otherwise, you must compensate us tenfold. Lai Vantaru was speechless and said icily, the more I listen, the more sinister the sounds. Is this a fan club or a disguised cult? I think you were using the name fan to engage in shady business. A slight aura emanated from him, immediately sending shivers down Chu Kenengir's spine. How can a 5-star martial master possess such a terrifying aura? Chu Kenengir didn't dare make a move anymore. He quickly called out, wait, we are a genuine fan club, not a cult. I can prove it. Lai Vantaru asked curiously, prove what? Chu Kenengir's chubby face trembled as he said, our Iceblock frequently contacts the personal maid of the goddess NH led 1B0 led 1E3C bang, TI led 1EC3 UTUY led 1EBFT. She often brings us the latest news about the goddess and sends us her blessings. Lai Vantaru listened, deep in thought. Seeing him spaced out, Chu Kenengir assumed he was swayed and immediately tried to persuade him further. Join Iceblock, and maybe one day you'll meet the goddess NH led 1B0 led 1E3C bang in person, or even get a chance to ask for her autograph. On your buttocks. Lai Vantaru gave a wry smile. Another mate again. He started calculating mentally. It was now clear that the entire H-led-1ED3-NG-NGUY-led-1EC7T city, even the eastern region and the Pearl of the Eastern Sea, were in the hands of the Qin family matriarch, likely Qin H-led-1B0-led-1E3C-Bang-S mother. If he infiltrated this fan club, perhaps he could find a way to obtain the pearl. He then asked, if I join the club, will I get to meet Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT? Chu Kanengir nodded vigorously. Yes, you can meet her, but only in group settings. If you want private access, you need to reach a high rank within the organization. Lai Van Teru's face darkened. What kind of fan club is this? It is clearly an upgraded version of a cult. Suddenly, a short, sharp sound echoed through the courtyard, startling everyone. Chu Kanengir's expression changed, and he exclaimed joyfully, the signal for assembly. Sister Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT must be here. Let us hurry out to see. You're really lucky today. He glided away like the wind towards the main hall. Since Lai Van Teru was already here, he also wanted to see what kind of person Qin H-led-1B0-led-1E3C-Bang-S made truly was. Perhaps this could provide a breakthrough. He followed Chu Kanengir into the main hall. In an instant, the small courtyard had gathered over 100 people, packed so tightly that standing comfortably felt like a fight. Lai Van Teru's divine sense swept through them. Most were martial emperors, with only 4 having reached martial venerable, and among those 4, Y-led-1EBF and Tenhor had reached 7-star martial venerable. Seeing that nearly everyone had gathered, Y-led-1EBF and Tenhor stood up and announced loudly, I invite Sister Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT to show herself. The crowd immediately erupted in applause. Everyone's face lit up as brightly as if they had just found a treasure. A round-bodied woman slowly walked out. As soon as everyone saw her, they excitedly jumped up and shouted in unison, Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT, Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT, bet us. Lai Van Teru stood watching, wanting to ask questions of both heaven and earth, his mind filled with floating question marks. He whispered, isn't that Qin H-led-1B0-led-1E3C-Bang-S personal maid? Why are we only seeing the logistics team here? Chu Kanengir immediately murmured, mind your manners, that goddess and H-led-1B0-led-1E3C-Bang-S close attendant, elder sister Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT. Lai Van Teru almost popped his eyes out. He thought to himself, this is Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT. She looks like a moving water barrel. It is a miracle she can even serve a young lady with a figure. Y-led-1EBF and Tenhor raised his hand, signaling a pause, then smiled and said, welcome back to Iceblock, elder sister Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT. This time you bring words of comfort and blessing from goddess and H-led-1B0-led-1E3C-Bang. Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT had coarse features and showed no hint of gentleness. She let out a cackle and said, my young lady sends her regards and thanks everyone for the standing support and admiration. Miss NH-led-1B0-led-1E3C-Bang also holds everyone in high regard. Bet us, for goddess and H-led-1B0-led-1E3C-Bang and elder sister Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT. We won T back down, even if it means climbing mountains of swords or descending into seas of fire. Chu Kanengir suddenly roared, instantly heating up the atmosphere. Everyone howled continuously like madmen. Lai Van Teru slightly knitted his brows, checking with his divine sense. He confirmed that this group was all normal, not under any form of illusion or charm, that they really be genuine fanboys. Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT continued, but recently, my young lady has been troubled by a certain matter, losing sleep and appetite over it. The entire crowd immediately fell silent. Y-led-1EBF and Tenhor said in a deep voice, please explain, elder sister Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT. What is causing goddess and H-led-1B0-led-1E3C-Bang worry? We, the Iceblock, would not hesitate even if we had to die 100 times. Everyone responded in unison, the shouts echoing loudly. Moved, Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT said, thank you, everyone. If Miss NH-led-1B0-led-1E3C-Bang knew, she would definitely be very touched. PRS what happened? Have any of you heard of the Silver Moon sect? The crowd began to murmur amongst themselves, with some showing signs of recognition. Y-led-1EBF and Tenhor said, the Silver Moon sect is also quite famous in the Eastern Domain. Most of its members are female cultivators. It is rumored they practice a dual cultivation technique that is looked down upon, using matters between men and women for cultivation. Its authenticity is unclear. Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT looked serious and replied, exactly. Furthermore, the young master, N-led-1EA-1P-LAN-CH-led-1EC-9-TU-Y-led-1EC-1N, has come to Crimson Moon City to participate in the martial arts competition to select a consort. Y-led-1EBF and Tenhor showed anger, shouting, how can such a depraved individual step onto the martial arts platform? And the name N-led-1EA-1P-LAN-CH-led-1EC-9-TU-Y-led-1EC-1N sounds like a woman's name. Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT immediately said, she is indeed a woman. This is what is bothering my young lady. Because the rules only mention heroes under 30 and don't explicitly specify gender, she exploited this loophole. Everyone understands what is about to happen. Everyone simultaneously swallowed hard, various blurry scenes flashing through their minds, 2 exceptionally beautiful women clad in sheer silk. Y-led-1EBF and Tenhor coughed a few times, then said, N-led-1EA-1P-LAN-CH-led-1EC-9-TU-Y-led-1EC-1N is truly outrageous. We heard she's also a beauty. We absolutely cannot let this happen. Please advise us on what to do. Elder sister Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT. Ti-led-1EC3-UTUY-led-1EBFT smiled and said, my young lady has found out where she is staying. We hope everyone can help resolve this trouble. Y led 1 EBFN 10 Hor looked around and said, the mission is clear, we must prevent N led 1 EA1P LAN CH led 1 EC9 TU Y led 1 EC1N from participating in the concert selection. If not, what kind of order would that be? This task is entrusted to the Iceblock. Under his guidance, the group S morale soared, as if they were about to charge into a fire. Chuken and Gear slapped Live Antaru on the shoulder and exclaimed, brother, let us go quickly. This is our chance to earn merit. If we do well, we want to just get promoted. We might even get to meet Goddess NH led 1B0 led 1 E3C bang. Live Antaru said in surprise, something like that exists. Has anyone actually met her yet? Chuken and Gear proudly said, of course, we are the most loyal fans. Brother Tenhoer and a few deacons have already been received by the Goddess. Just thinking about it gets my blood boiling. Chuken and Gear said no more, pulling him into the crowd as the entire group rushed out of the main hall. Observing the direction the iron chariot was flying, Live Antaru's divine sense detected it heading toward the Crimson Moon City Lord's residence. It was also flying higher than regulations permitted, which confirmed that the person was indeed QNH led 1B0 led 1 E3C Bang's personal maid. A level 7 Golden Sun battleship, though slightly old, was still majestic. Over 100 people boarded it and flew towards where the Silver Moon sect was staying. Live Antaru also noticed that the battleship displayed the city's passing emblem. Before long, the battleship hovered over an architectural complex, completely blocking the sunlight. Several figures rushed out from below, all young women. One of them angrily shouted, who dares to hover over the Silver Moon sect SA space? Land immediately. Y led 1 EBF and 10 Hor let out a cold snort and said, there is no such thing as Silver Moon sect A space. This is Crimson Moon City, and all of heaven and earth here belong to this city. After speaking, he yelled loudly. Over 100 martial artists spread out and surrounded the architectural complex. The 4 female disciples immediately changed expression, knowing that the new arrivals meant trouble. One woman carefully asked, may I ask who you are? Has the Silver Moon sect offended you in some way? Or perhaps, line and clarify things for us. A pleasant voice echoed like music. A figure in white stepped out. Her appearance was stunningly beautiful, every gesture captivating. It was in letter 1 EA1P LAN CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N. Live Antaru's eyes narrowed. This woman was an 8-star Marshal Venerable. Despite her lovely face, her innate yin energy remained, clearly indicating she was a virgin. This was completely inconsistent with the rumors of her practicing depraved male-female techniques. Y letter 1 EBFN 10 Hor asked coldly, and letter 1 EA1P LAN CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N. Why have you come to Crimson Moon City? Is it for Goddess QNH letter 1 B0 letter 1 E3C bang? And letter 1 EA1P LAN CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N calmly replied, I came here precisely because of her. Is there a problem? Sure enough, a look of greed appeared on Y letter 1 EBFN 10 Hor's face. He smiled and said, no, we formally invite you to come with us for a while. We will release you after the martial arts competition. During that time, my brothers and I will take care of you very thoroughly. The 2 words take care carried an unspoken, difficult to articulate hidden meaning. This comment immediately enraged and letter 1 EA1P LAN CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N. She cursed coldly, shameless, you deserve death. Then, in the blink of an eye, she attacked, lashing a long whip straight towards Y letter 1 EBFN 10 Hor, striking him severely. And letter 1 EA1P LAN CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N coldly said, if you have nothing further, withdraw quickly. The Silver Moon sect does not welcome you. Y letter 1 EBFN 10 Hor collapsed to the ground. His cultivation was low by 1 star, so he didn't dare to face her directly. Therefore, he shouted, charge, for the goddess, for the goddess. The whole group followed suit, yelling in unison. As if provoked, she lunged towards and letter 1 EA1P LAN CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N. The 4 female cultivators behind her also charged out, but they were only low-level martial venerables. Y letter 1 EBFN 10 Hor snorted coldly, continuously ridiculing the place as being full of filth. Harsh words continuously poured out, yet her attacks became increasingly vicious. Forcing in letter 1 EA1P LAN CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N onto the defensive, combined with attacks from several deacons, she immediately fell into a disadvantageous position. Live Antaru could tell that the Iceblock referring to Y letter 1 EBFN 10 Hor was not benevolent. Conversely, the people from Silver Moon sect, while appearing sinister, were much more straightforward. After several exchanges, and letter 1 EA1P LAN CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N kept retreating as he forward, and Y letter 1 EBFN 10 Hor seized the opportunity. Her figure flashed, peering behind in letter 1 EA1P LAN CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N, and a gleaming saber chopped down. At the critical moment, Live Antaru lightly flicked his finger, and a ray of force shot out, piercing through the air. No one could react in time as it directly struck Y letter 1 EBFN 10 Hor's blade, causing the edge to deviate and lose its killing intent. Y letter 1 EBFN 10 Hor was alarmed, then furiously shouted, though, show your face immediately. And letter 1 EA1P LAN CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N was also flustered. She looked around gratefully and said, CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N thanks this benefactor for saving her life. A laughing voice rang out, saying, it was just a small matter. Under sister CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N. No need for excessive formality. Immediately after, a flash of light appeared, and a young master emerged in mid. With a confident smile on his face, he said, don't worry, younger sister, your older brother has arrived. It turned out to be Taemun Kim Lang, one of the East Region's 7-star sons, and letter 1 EA1P LAN CH letter 1 EC9 TU Y letter 1 EC1N was overjoyed and quickly thanked him. Taemun Kim Lang humbly replied that she flattered him. Live Antaru, standing nearby, was speechless because it was clearly he who had acted. There's no shortage of shameless people in this world. It seems this guy isn't a good sort either. He had originally intended to secretly do a good deed, but now it seems he will have to step out into the open.